Hello everyone, welcome to this research methods tutorial about sampling. You should know all this by now, so I'm not going to read it, but if you're not familiar with the format of using these videos, then you can pause it here and have a quick read. Sampling is the process of selecting a smaller group of participants who we're going to study from a much larger target population of interest. So if we have a look at the diagram below, you can see that in the target population there are too many people for us to be able to study. It wouldn't be practical. So we need to select a smaller group of those people to study, and that is our sample. There are several ways that psychologists can select their samples, but one of the easiest is to use opportunity sample. And this is just using whoever is available at the time. So for example, using students who are in the common room or people who might be eating in the canteen. The strength of using this technique is that it's very convenient and easy for the researcher to use people who were just available at that time. However, there is the potential for the sample to be biased. The people who are available at any given time might not be representative of the whole of the target population. So for example, if I go to the common room during lesson time, the students who were there might be on a free because they're studying the same subject, so they might be different in some way from students who were studying other subjects, and that can be a problem. Another fairly easy way to select participants from a sample is to have them select themselves or to volunteer to take part in the study. So participants might respond to adverts asking for people who want to take part in research. The adverts for the study can be placed in appropriate places depending on the needs of the study. So for example, if the researcher needed mothers and their children to take part in the study, they could advertise in local nurseries or in daycare centres. One of the strengths of using a volunteer sample is that it's very convenient for the researcher. They just have to place the adverts in newspapers or to put posters up to advertise their study, and the participants get in contact with them. However, again, there's an issue of sampling bias. People who volunteer for research might be very different from those who don't. So for example, they could be more helpful or more willing to please. They might read a particular newspaper, and that can be a problem if the experimenter has only advertised in one newspaper. They will only get people who read that one paper, and that can bias the sample. Random sampling is when every single member of the target population has an equal chance of being selected. So for example, picking names from a hat or using computer randomization to select from a list of participants' names. A strength of random sampling is that it's likely to be unbiased and is going to be very representative because the researcher hasn't influenced the selection of participants. This is thought to be the ideal method of sampling that psychologists should use. However, it can be impractical to use with very large samples because it can take a lot of time to list all of the people in the target population. If every nth person from a list is selected, so for example every fifth person, this is called a systematic sample. A systematic sample is only random if the number is generated randomly, perhaps by rolling dice. The last sampling method that you need to know about is called stratified sampling. And this is where the target population is divided into important subgroups, so it could be genders or age brackets. The sample is selected in the proportions in which they occur in the population. So for example, if 20% of our population of interest are aged between 50 and 65, then 20 participants in a sample of 100 should be in that age bracket. A strength of stratified sampling is that it's representative of the target population because we've deliberately made it so. The subgroups of interest have been included very deliberately. However, it can be very time-consuming to identify the important subgroups and to calculate their proportions in the target population and then to select an appropriate number of participants. Once the subgroups have been identified, another kind of sampling method might be used to select the participants, such as random sampling, who are going to be within that sample. And that's all, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.